Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Jeshua Encounter podcast. My name is Tasha Renee, and I am your host. Today, we have somebody I just deeply love and respect, and I'm so grateful she's in the world, is Miss Wendy Kay. She's extremely talented psychic. I've gotten readings from her, and she's amazing. So if you're looking for that, she's going to give her contact information so you can actually get a hold of her. If you would like to, if you're listening to this on Spotify, you can also watch this on our YouTube channel. Just search for us under the Jeshua podcast. You can also email us. Let me try that again. Email us at thejeshuapodcast at gmail.com. And if you are watching this, you can also search us on Spotify and find us there. If you don't know who I am, I help women mainly, but also men heal through their sacred rage. So a lot of sacred rage alchemy going on over here. If you're interested in that, let me know. I also own a company called Lavish ASMR, which is in-person back scratching and hair play sessions, which are super therapeutic as well as deeply relaxing. So we're on here today to hear Miss Wendy Kay tell us about her Jeshua encounter. And I'm so excited because I know you have some freaking awesome stories. So yes, please, girl, introduce yourself. Tell us what you do. I kind of told you what it was, but tell us what you do, how to get in contact with you, and then tell your encounter.
Perfect. Thank you, Tasha. Thank you so much for having me. I feel very honored. I love you. You're amazing. I am Psychic Medium Wendy Kay. You can find me on mediumwendyk.com. You can find me on Facebook, Wendy Kay, or even on Instagram, Medium Wendy Kay. And you can email me info@wendyk.net, and also text me 503-822-8229 to set up your appointment. I do Zoom and in person. I'm located in Oregon, so it just depends. But I have clients all over the world. I just did even one in Australia last week, so it's pretty cool. So I love what I do. I've had this gift for my entire life, but really the last 10 years, I've really stepped into it and created a business. So I love connecting with people and helping relay healing, powerful, validating messages, for comfort and healing and closure, really.
I just highly recommend you. I just think you're fantastic all around.
Thank you, my
So
dear.
yes, tell us your Jeshua, Jesus, whatever you
Oh
call him,
man.
encounter.
So I wrote some stuff down because I didn't want to forget, but I know that, my guides and angels will remind me. So, Joshua, whatever anybody wants to call him, I was raised in a very strict Christian home, Baptist. So I just call him Jesus, that's, but honestly, whatever and whoever he is to you, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And that's what I want to tell a lot of people is it doesn't matter what you call him or her, whatever resonates with you, what makes you feel comfortable. I had many encounters when I was little. I won't go into this, but being a victim of sexual abuse when I was 7, I remember going to my church and sitting in the pew, and I felt Jesus. I felt him, even at 7, 8 years old. And I was never mad. I was never mad at Jesus. I was never mad at God. It happened for me and not to me. And I knew I was going to help other women. I didn't know how that was going to be, but I just also knew I just had this kind of magical power and intuition knowing that he's got me, So I've always felt him even when I was little. And then stepping into my own gifts and awareness and my mediumship abilities, my psychic abilities, I really truly had to trust, because being raised the way I was raised, we were told not to believe in this stuff because we were talking to the devil. And I just knew, I was like, there's a reason why I'm so drawn to mediumship, to spirit, to ghosts, to astrology. I was always deeply I just wanted to know more about that. And I had to do everything in secrecy. And leading up in 2010, I had a near-death experience with my son, delivering him. He actually wasn't alive when we had an emergency C-section. They resuscitated him. He made a full, he's totally fine. no brain damage, no nothing. But Jesus started showing himself to me from then on. And I would say within the last 3 years, I'm a certified Reiki master. So I can teach, and I love doing Reiki because it's a beautiful healing modality to help the chakras, to help PTSD, to help anything and everything, to just get in that alignment and to totally connect to our gifts, our intuition, awareness. And I got divorced, and in 2019, moved to my location I am now, and COVID hit within 2 months. So being a single mom of 2, I was like, what am I going to do? And I was so afraid. And because my money, at the time, I've been a hairstylist for 21 years. And at the time, that was I would say my main focus. I would say 70% of my income. The rest was doing Zoom sessions, readings in person. And so I was like, what am I going to do? I need to bring in income. And so my kids had left to go see their father for spring break in 2020. And I specifically heard the voice of God say, go take a bath and don't listen to any meditation music. Don't listen to any guided meditation, nothing. And I was like, okay. And when you hear the voice of God, it's a very different, it brings you to your knees, to be honest.
Yeah. It's definitely different than just hearing your own voice, for sure. Even if it is in your own voice. Yes.
It is.
Totally different energy.
You've got to do what you just heard.
Yes.
So I drew myself a bath. And of course, I was afraid because I had just gotten divorced, just moved here, and then COVID hit. I didn't have enough savings to keep me, for the next year with COVID. And I was afraid of paying my bills. I was like, how am I going to do this? I don't have family that supports me. I lost a lot of friends because of what it is that I chose to do and who I am and evolving into my gifts. So I drew a bath, I got in the bath, and literally within 10 seconds, here comes Jesus. And he came to me, and I see spirit physical, like I can see them, not only just in my third eye, but just like, they present themselves as like a hologram.
Yeah.
And here he comes in this golden light, and he's wearing the sandals, he's wearing the white cloth robe, he's got the beard, he's got the hair, and he just opened his arms, and I just started bawling because I knew that his essence is, you just want to surrender everything.
Pure love too. It's like a pure love.
I just got chills when you said it's pure unconditional love.
Yeah.
And he told me, he opened his arms, and I just came running to him. Yes, I'm in the bath, but it's all like energetically. And I'm crying in the bath. I'm like, this is so surreal. And he just said, seek refuge in me, and I will give you shelter. And in that moment, I knew exactly what he meant, because I was afraid of not being able to pay my bills. And the whole shelter thing wasn't shelter from what was happening in the world. It was purely, he was telling me, I've got you. You've got to trust in me. And talk about surrender, talk about the humanness, like the brain, just like, oh my God, I'm choosing to fully surrender in your unconditional love and know that I'm taken care of. I don't know how I'm going to be taken care of, but I see Jesus clear as day. I know he's going to take care of me. And that was just, I mean, I just still get body chills just speaking about it, because his love is so unconditional. And, Jesus's love, like, he's a healer like us.
Yep. Yep.
He walked with those that needed his love, his grace, and his compassion. And I remember, like, I asked while I was in the bathtub, I'm like, I don't know what to do. And he goes, you're going to keep posting what you do. And I'm like, I'm going to annoy these people. And he's like, good.
Good.
You have to. I want you to, because they're going to remember you. I'm like, okay. And I started, and I remember I did not have April rent. I didn't have enough. And that weekend, literally like that day, I posted on Facebook, Instagram, whatever. And I got 11 readings that weekend, and I had
Wow. Wow.
Yep. And 11, I mean, come on, 1 month.
Fucking amazing.
And I just knew, I was like, okay, he's got me. He's got me. So why am I tugging at the rope, trying to control? That's our human self. And that's very natural. I still do that now.
Mhm.
I don't stay in that space long because I have the tools in order to get out of that. But back then, clinging, I don't have anybody to fall onto.
Yeah.
I don't have anybody. It was just
Neither.
me taking care of my kids. And it's like, fuck, what's gonna happen? And I got enough people to pay rent. So I'm like, all right. And it just kept increasing, and it kept increasing, it kept increasing. And then there was another, so I grew up in a very small town, very religious, and a lot of people shunned me, and there was moments where I questioned, should I still do this? Do I didn't want, I was almost ready to throw in the towel. I was like, I'm done doing this mediumship shit. I'm not reaching enough people. Like, this is ridiculous. And I remember sitting in my living room, and I just heard God say, close your eyes. And I did. And all of a sudden I felt Jesus. And he came to me, and he was kneeling by my feet.
Mm.
And I was like, I have a million faces like that. My dad always said, he's just like, you're a child that has a million faces, because I wear my heart on my sleeve, so it's like,
yeah, I can't hide our emotions. Definitely not. No.
And I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, I'm like talking to you, like, what are you doing? Like, why are you kneeling to me?
Yeah, I should be kneeling to you. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And in that moment, in my third eye, he made it zoom in on him, and he was washing my feet.
Fuck.
I just cried for the, I literally, like, I think everything within me just needed to get out, and I was just crying. I couldn't even breathe because it was so overwhelming, to the fact that we grew up, those who grew up in a Christian home, reading the Bible, Mary washed Jesus's feet. Others washed Jesus's feet, but here he is washing my feet. And he said, I'm the chosen one. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not the only chosen one. That's not what I'm saying.
Right.
He was saying, you've been chosen to do this work.
Yeah. Don't give up, because you were questioning. And so he was like, you're the chosen one to do this work. Yes. Yes.
And how can you argue with Jesus?
I don't think you can, but I think it might not be, you're gonna make your life pretty damn hard.
It was
Pretty
too
damn
overwhelming, the fact that he was washing my feet, when I just felt that honor and that praise. And it's like, all right, Jesus, give me enough of that confidence and that strength and that grit to keep going. Because it's easy to just kind of want to throw in the towel. It's hard what we do,
Yes.
It doesn't have to be, but there are days where we're human, and we just need to feel in our humanness, I mean, yes, we're spiritual beings having a human experience, but we're still human in this.
Yeah, well, I think when you're
world.
an entrepreneur, especially, and you're starting a business, what people don't understand is typically, yes, businesses have been, if you know a shitload of people, you're probably not going to have the normal wait time, to be honest. But normal wait time to get a business really going is usually 1 to 3 years. I mean, that's no joke. Like, that's the truth. And in between there, if you have quit your job and this is your sole money coming in, there are definitely times when you're going to throw your hands up and be like, I don't want to fucking do this anymore. I've done the same thing with what I do, for sure. And then Of course, I always just give the visual of what they, give me, which is like, I'm fucking done. I'm not doing this anymore. And then literally something happens where something big, like somebody comes and says, oh, I want to book a session with you, like instantly afterwards, like the next day or something. Or they say, oh my God, you don't know this, but I've been following you for over a year now, and you've literally saved my life. And like, you just have no idea. You're just like, it's like they laugh. I picture them laughing, going, you think you're in control of this. This is a divinely lit thing. You're not, no, bitch, you were chosen. Right? But that also can be frustrating too, because okay, I'm chosen, but I'm still not making the money. Like, what the fuck? And so there's a lot of different directions. And I think if you have somebody like Jesus to, he always talks about, like, leave it at the altar, like, give it to me. That's what he means when he says that, is like, when you're frustrated, like you were scared of paying your bills. Yep. How are things going to work out? I have a living situation. It's the same thing with me, honestly. And when I start to get worried, because I don't have anybody to fall, not one person to fall back on, no friends to do that, nothing either. Yep. And so for me, I literally call him in now, and I'm like, I literally say the words, I trust you. I know you have me. You just took me out of a poor, disgusting fucking living situation a year ago. I know you're not going to put me back in one. So I just trust you. And so that's what he means by like laying it at his feet.
Absolutely.
And interesting how that laying it at his feet, and he was
I know, right?
I'm just like,
I know. I just got chills when you said that too.
Yeah. It's like interesting. He's like really just, he's just so amazing and beautiful to me. He's
amazing. And not only that, but just, I work with him a lot during my Reiki sessions. Mm-hmm. And I feel him. I feel his hands on my hands. And it's just that total surrender. It's just like, all right, God. And I started working with him recently when I do my mediumship. Like, I would go to God's source energy and call in my spirit animals, my loved ones, and God to, remove all of my own personal thoughts, feelings, and emotions, because it's my client's time. It's not my time. I'm just the medium. I'm just the channeler. And I want the divine wisdom, the knowledge, to speak what it is, the higher consciousness, God consciousness, Christ consciousness through me. Yeah. But I would feel Jesus. So recently, I got to backtrack. So recently, for a long time, when I was with my kids' father, I would read this devotional book called Jesus Calling. And it's beautiful. I love it. Sarah, something, I can't remember her name, but she is a channeler. She's a missionary, but she channels.
I've read that.
She channels messages, which is, I love it, because I don't know if she really fully understands it, because she might be too involved in the Christianity part, and that's fine. But I remember, and not too long ago, God reminded me, he's like, remember when you were doing this devotional, like this was 10, 11 years ago. It was right before I divorced my kids' father. And my ex literally looked at me, because I was like, I can't do this. I can't be with you because you don't approve of my gifts, and I can't shut it off. And that's when I was fully evolving into my gifts and psychic, and I could see things and see spirit and angels, and he just thought I was nuts. And I was
like, you needed that support, and you weren't going to get it. Yeah.
I wasn't going to get it. And I remember him saying that he was jealous of me because he saw me getting so close to God while doing that devotion.
Big red flag. It makes me feel bad for him, and it's a big red flag. If you're gonna feel jealous of God, there's a problem, right? Yeah, that's
the thing, is we have to do our work. Mm-hmm. God's there, Jesus is there, but we have to surrender. We have to go there. So I recently bought, I think it was in November, just this year or last year, I bought the Jesus Calling devotional book again, and I started doing it. And I wish, I know I put it somewhere in my journal. I wish I would have the actual like verse to give you guys. But one day I was doing this devotion. And I remember whenever I do a reading, I always call in, Jesus, Christ consciousness. And Jesus always appears to my left, and he places his right hand on my shoulder.
Mm.
And I never understood why.
Yeah.
And I always ask that Jesus gives me grace and compassion for my client, because that's what Jesus was.
Yeah.
He was full of compassion. He was full of grace. He met people where they're at. And that's what I am to do, is I'm to meet my clients where they're at. No judgment. I'm to be of service and to guide them.
Yes.
And I was doing this. I wish I knew the verse, but I was doing the devotion. I woke up super early. That's another routine that I've put in place, is I wake up at 5:30, and I don't look at my phone. I go straight to my devotion. I read what I need to read. I connect with God. I call in what I want the day to be like. And when I miss a day, my whole day is just messed up.
Feels totally different. Yeah.
It does. And so I was reading this devotion, and one of the scriptures in the Bible talks about Jesus standing and placing, "Behold, I place my right hand upon you."
What? That's wild. What the fuck?
And I was like, what? I wish I could remember this verse, but it's that energy. It's that because I was always wondering, I'm like, why do you always put your right hand on my shoulder? I don't understand this. And there it was. And I was like, clarity times 10.
You can't make this shit up. That's
I can't.
No.
I know. I was just like, oh my God, like you're amazing. Like, what the hell? And so it was just in those times, it's like, I'm not crazy.
Yeah.
This is legit. This is clarity. And
Real. Yes. He is real.
And I just call in Jesus all the time. I love his energy. I love his essence. I get excited connecting with him. I'm more open to surrendering and letting him use me. And when you get to that point as a healer, as a medium, as a spiritual, as a whatever it is you do, it's very blissful. I don't know how else to describe it. It's amazing.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful. Like I just love the love that Jesus gives me and fills my body, and anytime I'm frustrated or whatever, it's like, okay, Jesus, just help me with grace and compassion. And he does it. Like, it's like what it says in the Bible, ask not, receive not, and
Yes.
More people, the Bible has been written so many times, and I know we don't need to get into that, but it's like, there are solid verses in scripture in the Bible that I do truly feel and live by.
Yeah.
And it's not like I'm picking and choosing what I want to believe. It's just what feels right for me, because I was ingrained to fear God, and I didn't feel like God's unconditional love.
Right.
But
right. You felt fear. You didn't feel love. You felt fear.
Because then I'm like, oh my God, am I going to hell because I said a bad word? It's like, no, God loves us unconditional. There's nothing.
There aren't conditions. Yeah, there's no conditions to it.
Humans, my own father, I don't have a father that loves me unconditionally.
Me either.
And I'm okay with that. Like, there's a lot of people, and it's about projection too. It's understanding when someone's projecting their own stuff onto you. Yeah. So when I share, I don't have a relationship with my family. They're like, oh, well, you should. It's like, you don't get to decide that for me, because I never had that growing up. And I still don't, they don't believe in what I do. And to me, at the end of the day, God's got me. Yes. And I live for him because he gave me this gift. It's not me doing this. It's him. Yeah. So as long as I keep walking in that, and my parents don't see that, and that's okay. I've always said my parents won't see that until they're on the other side. Yep.
It's so funny. I always say my father and I haven't talked for over 16 years now. And I always say that I have made peace with the fact that he's more than likely going to die and we're never going to speak on this plane. But then when he passes over, I will be calling somebody to have a conversation. And the one that I've actually deserved and the one I've been waiting for, it's not going to happen until he passes over. So yeah, you're right. They're not going to get it until they pass over. And that's, I'm open to miracles. I've also said that too, is like, I'm here, I'm open. They're going to change and actually become, not toxic people.
Right. I'm open to miracles as well, but I'm no longer in that space. COVID really helped me. For so long, I was trying to prove so much to my family, to the community I grew up in, to people, to believe in me. But really what Jesus taught me was to believe in myself.
Yes.
And once I believed in myself, that's when my whole business changed. That's when how I channel changed, because it wasn't about them. It's about my clients. It's about how I receive the information.
Yep.
And honestly, at the end of the day, I feel at peace knowing that I'm where I'm supposed to be, regardless of anybody else's thoughts and ideas.
Yes.
And perceived notions on how I should be living my life.
Yes. There's a piece you cannot understand until you get to that place. And it took me a long time to get there too, to not be in that space of like proving or like hoping they'll see what I've done one day, or like even the feelings of like revenge, like that feeling of wanting to succeed for revenge. Like they're going to see it and they're going to realize I did make it. Like I even had that for a long time, and I let that kind of rule me out. Now I literally am just like, I really seriously don't give a fuck. I can care if you nothing. It's no longer about that. So yeah,
it's no longer about them. It's just in alignment for our clients and how to be of service.
Yep.
And that's what Jesus's energy has taught me, is just, he loved everybody.
Yes. I was telling people almost on every episode, in case people don't listen to every episode, Jesus is making a comeback. I mean, he's everywhere right now. He is fucking everywhere. And have you seen The Chosen? We talked about this.
No.
Bitch, what the fuck? You need to
wait.
The TV show.
No, I haven't. I need to.
You have to watch The Chosen. The whole reason I'm sitting here talking about him, the whole reason this fucking podcast exists, the whole reason my relationship with him has deepened, is because of The Chosen. And I talk about it constantly because it is the story of Jesus. It is your typical story of Jesus, but it's like 90%. And there's this 10% in there that makes him exactly the Jesus that you and I talk about, and not the one from the Bible. So Dallas Jenkins is the director, creator. I keep saying it, I'll say it until I'm blue in the face. He's channeling Jesus. He is full-blown channeling Jesus. Jonathan Rumi, and they are very religious. Jonathan Rumi, who plays Jesus, is Jesus. He's channeling Jesus. But Dallas, whether he knows it or not, Jesus is telling him, I want it to be done this way. I want to be said this way. I want to be shown this way. There's some humor in it, which is fucking really interesting, but it's not like it's not a humorous show, but there's this little bit of humor that makes him more human.
Yeah.
And there's more of this voice that he has, that Dallas has been, Christians are calling him blasphemous for some of the things he's doing and saying, which is interesting because a lot of how Jesus was looked at, right? Yeah. So anyways, what's happening, they even put 2 episodes in the box office, and it was in the top 5. I'm talking beating Marvel movies. Like, wow. It is changing people's lives. It has millions of followers on fucking Facebook. And so the way he comes across is the way he's coming in now. And the reason why he's channeling, Dallas is channeling him in this way, because he's supposed to be getting the attention of everyone. Jesus didn't fucking like religion. He didn't want religion. That's not what he fucking wanted. He was hanging out with the fucking whores. He was fucking, hanging out with the Gentiles. He was like the people that, the whole thing, right? So what is a better way to get his message out than through spiritual thinking people? Because spiritual thinking people think we're all one. We're not going to afford him or say only you can have this if you do it this way. We are like, everybody love him, everybody hear him, everybody. So it's every episode I cry.
Because he's not touching. It's that
And it's free. That's the thing, is you go to the app, there's an app, full-blown app, for all the episodes. There's 3 seasons currently. There's going to be 7. Everything has been like donated. It's not been like money. They've had to like get their money to do it and be able to actually do the seasons. And so, yeah, it's like, how don't you have these moments where you're like, that's my favorite moment. I could watch that a million times. And then you see the next fucking episode and you're like, how the fuck did it top the last one I just saw? Like, how is that? But there was this really deep message I got last year when I finally had it on my phone forever. And then I was like, oh yeah, I'm being told to like watch this now. And the message of like, you could be Jesus and be doing things, creating miracles, and people will still tear you down. You still can't be good enough. You still can't convince people. You can't be the most beautiful, amazing person that's ever walked this earth and still not be safe, so to speak. Right. So like season 3, for instance, is all about faith. Like he has his 12 disciples, his chosen disciples, right? And they're going through things where they're like, Jesus, you're healing this person and that person, and you're not doing things for me. And I'm one of your chosen. I'm struggling and you're not blah, blah, blah. And the whole thing of like, why didn't you ask me? Why didn't you ask me? You're still
right?
You're still supposed to ask me. You're supposed to have self-faith that I'm going to help you and heal you. Like you're supposed to have that.
I said that, and I've heard that multiple times. Yep. We have to ask.
Free will is a fucking thing. Yes, it is a thing. They're not going to do shit without you saying, I'm ready, I'm available, I surrender, I want, you know, I have faith, I believe in you. The other thing I've been telling myself when I go through like money questions is like, I say to myself, nope, I believe in you. I have faith that you will move these mountains for me. You will fucking, you will do what you promised. You will do what you say you're going to do. Yes. So yeah, everybody please watch The Chosen. I'm waiting for them to fucking hear me at some point because like the show, because I talk nonstop about that fucking show. So go to the app, or you can also go to Angel. I don't know how they got this website, but it's angel.com. And it's angel.com, and that's Angel Studios basically, but it's angel.com, and you can watch all the episodes for free on there as well. All full length. There's never any money asked for anything ever. So yes, go watch The Chosen.
Definitely going to watch it. I definitely,
it's so magical.
I mean, it's like that one movie with I don't remember. It was
Passion of the Christ.
Yes. Oh man,
I couldn't watch it.
I bawled.
I couldn't watch it. I feel so much for him. I keep trying to prepare myself for when they put him they put this character, Jonathan Rumi, on the fucking cross as Jesus. I know I'm going to watch because I feel that close to him. But it fucking terrifies me to think about seeing that.
I understand, but it's kind of like God allowed that to happen, and I don't feel he felt the same pain as we would.
Of course not.
There's some type of other pain he might have felt, but I don't feel like it's what we think he experienced.
Right. That's true. I know what you're saying. Like, it's not. So for instance, I know you know this as well, being a psychic medium, right? But like, I try to remind people that like lots of people that have died and come back or talked about it, or you see people like Tyler Henry talk about like people that have passed over.
Yeah.
What they often talk about is that they're gone before they're actually dead.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. So there's not this pain and this traumatic thing you see them go through. They're not even there for that. They're literally like, I don't know what happens that they're still experiencing the pain. I mean, different timelines, dimensions. I mean, I don't know how to explain that really, but they're just not there. They're not feeling that.
No.
Yeah.
It's not that physical pain that we think
it is. Yeah.
They're experiencing, or we imagine. And that's half of the readings of why I do the readings for my clients is did they feel the pain? Did they, it's like, no, they didn't.
Are they mad at me still? Are they upset with me?
Like, no, they're free and fine on the other side. They want you to finally just live your life. Just live,
Yeah, they always, it's the same message every time I see a medium when tap into somebody on the other side. It's always the same message of like,
it is
where we're at. None of that fucking even matters. We don't even have the capability of even carrying that fucking feeling.
No, I know.
Please, whatever you're torturing yourself with, whether it's guilt or it's anger or whatever, that's on you. So we don't want any of that. That if anything, you're causing us not grief or pain, but making it more energetically tied, maybe would be the better question. Because we're not completely free in some aspect because you're still holding on to this thing that's so important to you that you need answers for. Yeah. So, and they still can function. They're fine. But yeah, it's always the same message. It's always,
it is. I mean, message. And I feel it, more likely than not, loved ones come forward and they just want to let their loved one know that they've seen the celebrations, they've seen like the milestones, the wedding, the marriage, the kids, the graduation.
They are there. Those things you wish we were there for, they're fucking there for.
Or even like if a husband lost his wife or a wife lost her husband, it's the same message. Go, move on, and be free and find somebody.
Find another partner.
Yes.
Yes. They
don't have that ego like we do here in the physical.
They don't have that jealousy. Nope. They're not going to be mad at you. They're not going to haunt you. They're not going to. I mean, you do have restless spirits for sure in some aspects, but I was
like, yeah, that's another podcast.
Yeah, I mean, 9 times out of 10 though, and even those right. From what I've heard of people who specialize in that, like the restless spirits, the dark. I knew a woman who literally, that's all she did. And she said every single one she's ever encountered, no matter how ugly, how evil, how disgusting. Oh, my left ear is ringing massively right now. Fucking whoa, like massive confirmation of this. Thank you. That was weird. It's still ringing. Okay. Anyways, that every single one of them was just needing to be shown the light. Basically, they were needing closure. They were needing to be shown love. They were needing to be heard. They were needing all the things. Yeah, they needed to that darkness just needed to be even out with light. And then they literally, now my right ear's ringing. A huge message, like holy shit.
It's because there's other people that are needing to hear this. I think.
Yeah, like massively. I think me too, because I'm deathly afraid of the dark. Like I can't, like if anybody comes to me and says, "Oh, do you deal with?" I'm like, "Fuck no, that is my friend. Can't even talk about that because I don't even want nothing to do with that."
Really? So see, it's funny you say that because I used to be really, really afraid. And now it's like, me graduating with my degree in criminal justice, I want to do psychic detective work because spirit does come to me and they'll show me awful, like, it's interesting when I do one-on-one readings, it's very different the way spirit comes forward. But when I know that I'm going to be doing like a cold case or other cases, missing person, they show me such brutality that they went through and they want justice and they know that I have a voice that's going to help their voice be heard, and to give the clarity and the peace to their parents or their family, whoever is involved. And they definitely want justice on the person that either killed them or whatever it is. And I have developed skills to don't fuck with me.
Yeah.
The spirit, the negative entity,
highly protected.
Don't. Yeah. Like, I don't know if you have those dreams where you're dreaming and you're like, you feel like someone has like their hands on your throat and you're like,
Yeah. Yep.
So I recently had that probably about 6 to 7 months ago. And where I used to get afraid being, single, I used to be afraid and be like, oh my gosh, is some, to the point where I recently just had this dream where I was in the middle of my dream and an entity was trying to force itself.
Oh my God.
And I literally in my dream, I was like, you piece of shit, you motherfucker. Like I was just, and I woke up and I was like, well, I've elevated. That's I'm like, you motherfuckers, you can't fuck with me. Like I know my power. It's like Glenda the Good Witch telling Dorothy, you've always had the power. You just needed to know that you had it within yourself. You've always just had to find it.
Yes.
And since I found it, you can't get that. Nobody can take that away from me. No. But I needed to get to that point so that I'm not afraid, that I know my power and that I know energetically I can stand up for myself and I've got myself, and especially dealing with, cold cases, it can be heavy work, but it's also very rewarding work.
Yeah.
And that's what I tell people is like, detectives and police officers are meant to not be emotionally available and detached.
Yeah.
I've learned, yes, I'm an empath, and I also know the witness observer. So I know how to not become that, but observe, but also feel at the end of the day, what does that mother, father want? Somebody to feel their pain. I can feel that, but I don't become it.
Yeah.
I know how to do that now. And so that's what set me apart from others. It's like I've done the work and it's like, all right, God, I'm ready to start really helping and solving these cases that
So amazing.
need to be solved, because that's my passion. I've wanted to do this since I was little. I remember telling my mom, I'm like, I'm going to be a detective. And then she's like, no, you don't want to. You won't be married and you won't have kids. I'm like, I don't want kids. And I definitely don't need a man. I remember saying that, being like so little. I was so like, I'm going to be a detective. I'm doing this work. But now I have amazing kids that I love. And I'm so glad I went down that route. And now my life is just now, I feel like it's just now starting to start.
Now it's about you. Now it's really about you. Yeah.
And helping, so yeah, I mean, it's, there's the yin and yang, there's the darkness and then there's the light, with anything.
Always.
Always. You
Always.
just gotta
Yeah.
know how
Everything's
to
made up
protect
of
yourself.
both.
I
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, right. It's all as above, so below. Yeah.
Yep,
For sure.
absolutely. People don't understand that.
No, they don't understand that. That's why I personally don't believe in a hell. I don't believe in.
No, there's no hell.
I know there's dark. I know there's dark.
There's a holding. I would say there's a holding place, but like I always tell my clients, it's in heaven there's levels.
Yes.
And what is the highest? Christ consciousness, God, source energy. That's the highest level. The lowest is pedophiles, murders, awful, but their soul does get to relive on the other side and make anew.
Yep.
However that is.
Yep. And I'll tell you, people have a hard time with this. I'll tell you why that is, if this will help people. So I don't know if anybody's ever read or listened to, I highly suggest doing the audio, because the voice of God is Ed Asner, I believe his name is, and which is fucking fantastic for the voice of God. And then there's a woman also. So God actually shows up as male and female, which is really fantastic. But it's called Conversations with God. God was channeled through Neil Donald Walsh, who actually was in Oregon, by the way, came from Oregon.
I've read these books. He's freaking amazing.
Amazing. So so in the books, this was one of the ways that I ended up realizing God was exactly how spiritual people see God and not exactly how religious people see God.
Yes.
And one of these things that I had to close the book and not read it for about 2 weeks, because I was like, is this the devil speaking through this? Because I was more Christian thinking than I was at this point.
Right.
Because this statement blew my fucking mind. And what Neil asked was, does everybody go to heaven? Or if there's no hell, where do the people go? This is what it was. If there's no hell, where do the people go that do bad shit, like what you're talking about, murderers and rapists and pedophiles? And God said, well, they come over here. And Neil's like, what do you mean? He's like, let me give you an answer. He's like, what about Hitler? He's like, Hitler came over here.
Yep.
And Neil is like pissed. He's like, what are you talking about? And he's like, look, when Hitler did what Hitler did, Hitler thought he was doing what was right for his people. How am I supposed to punish you? You all think I punish, is what they were saying. You think I punish? How am I supposed to punish someone who thinks they're doing the right thing? And how am I supposed to punish? Think about murderers and rapists and pedophiles. Their brains are broken. These are not people who are normal people who are choosing to do this. Their brains are broken. Why would God punish somebody whose brain is broken?
Absolutely.
Everybody is loved. Everybody gets the opportunity. Now, I have also heard a story of a gentleman who, when he died, he was an atheist. And when he died, he was going down this hallway, and the hallway started to get darker, and there started to be like things grabbing at him. And at one point they were grabbing at him so much that they were literally like grabbing his skin and starting to pull his like limbs off. That was like really bad. Yeah. And he remembers hearing throughout the walk, call out to me. Call out to me. I'm here. Call out to me. There's that free will again. And the minute he said, save me, whatever it was, I believe in you, I don't know what it was he said, everything instantly disappeared and he was plucked out of that situation. So you really do. There is, wherever you believe is where you're fucking going.
Yep.
So everybody gets the I know it's hard to wrap your mind around the whole Hitler thing, but the lesson you're supposed to take out of it is there's nothing that you can fucking do. It's once again that epitome of unconditional love. There's nothing you can do that will keep you from God or Jesus loving you. And I had a friend of mine who I made a post about Jesus. She said, I really wish I believed in Jesus. And I said, well, guess what? Jesus believes in you.
Yeah.
And the fact that you literally just said, I wish I believed in Jesus. I believe in like 10% of the Bible. Okay. And there are certain things I quote from it. And one of them is the mustard seed. I said, you just gave the mustard seed version of a crack in your disbelief. And that's enough. I said, and you watch what fucking happens. And he will start reaching out to you. It may take a year, may take 10 years, may take fucking 2 months. So, but you watch. That I wish is enough. Is enough for that love to seep in there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I wish more and more people knew that, but that's where we come in, where we hold that space for people and meet them where they're at.
Yes. Yes.
Fuck. That's it.
I love these conversations with you. Oh God. Love you so much. That's
I love you,
fantastic. All right. Anything else you want to say?
I don't think so. I think just follow your own intuition and your guidance and your gut. And I think a lot of people take on other people's projections. And I think I'm saying this is because that's kind of been the theme the last 2 weeks with a lot of my readings of, it's like I told one of my clients, and because she just wanted to hear her grandmother, and I said, ask your grandma to show you, because she's trying to find a different avenue in her life, or like a different way to go.
Yeah.
And her family members are not supportive of where she's going and where she's heading. And I said, those are just projections from other people and the lens that they're looking through. And so I told her, I was like, set up an image that you can ask your grandmother when you do, because when someone puts a projection onto us, then we question ourselves if we're not strong enough.
Yep.
And so I said, set up an image or something that your grandmother will show you. Mine is that throw up emoji. When someone is projecting their own shit onto me, I see that emoji and I'm like, and I just kind of smile and I'm like, nope. And I literally just say return to sender, because I'm like, that's their projection onto me. Like, this is not what, and so I'm teaching my client to do the same with her grandmother, like set something up so that when someone is projecting their own issues onto you, you will know beyond a shadow of a doubt, because that's what clients want. They're like, I wish that I could be like you, where you could hear everything. It's like, well, sometimes I don't hear everything.
Sometimes you wish you didn't hear everything.
And 100,000% I wish sometimes I didn't hear everything.
It's a gift and a curse, motherfuckers. Trust me.
It is. So again, it's be in alignment with your true self, your ways, and the way that God has for you and is in store for you. It's going to look vastly different to a lot of people, and it's okay. So many people believe in everybody else's opinion, and it's like, they're not you.
Yeah, your relationship. That's why calling Jesus Christ consciousness or Yeshua or Jesus or Jeshua or whatever the fuck it is, it doesn't matter, because it's your personal relationship with him. And if you will allow him to show up in the way that's perfect for you and him together, and it doesn't have to be the way everybody else's is, or be fearful that it's going to show up in the ways that it shows up for me or you or fucking anybody else. Like, literally just be open to like whatever's perfect. I have a friend of mine who had massive religion trauma and is a really big medium, and Jesus started showing up to her in full fucking like form. Okay. And she was freaked out. She thought it was the devil. She thought she was I think it was over a year. She pushed him away and was like, I'm terrified of you. I don't fucking like you. Like, he kept showing up. So he had to show up like this, like normal dressed, had to talk some slang. He curses with her. He had to show up as a total like bestie. That was the only
It's
way.
funny you say that, because that's what Neil Wash explains in one of his conversations with God book.
Which part? What do you say?
The whole like Jesus and God might look different to each individual person.
Yes.
He will present himself differently so that you will perceive him.
Yes. So you'll feel you'll be open to feeling the love, because if you don't, you're only going to feel the fear. So of course they're going to show up in whatever way, I mean, technically speaking, Jesus showed up in sandals and whatever for you, because that's what you were comfortable fucking seeing. Somebody else, he may show up in a literally pair of jeans and a fucking t-shirt that says Jesus is,
or on a surfboard. I remember one of my girlfriends, she sees Jesus on a surfboard. I'm like,
yeah,
perfect.
Not only that, but why wouldn't Jesus, who literally can do everything, why wouldn't
walk
he
on water?
all of the things Earth has to fucking offer too, like
right.
So yeah, just be open. If you're just like, I can't connect with what Tasha's saying or what Wendy's saying or anybody else. So I challenge you to call him in and say, I can't connect in these ways, but can you show yourself to me in a way that I can connect with you and I feel like I can feel you? Absolutely. And I promise you, he will show up that way, but you gotta fucking ask, man. You gotta every day. You only need to ask him to come into your heart one time in your life. I ask every fucking day. I literally am like, come into my heart, come into my life and lead us. Not just me, but I say lead us where we're supposed to go together. Not just lead me where you want me to go. Lead us where we're supposed to co-create together. So it's another thing, if you're worried about like giving over your surrendering your whole fucking like free will, like that's not, he doesn't even want that. That's not how it is. So if it's easier to say something like that, where it's like, what are we doing together today? Not, here's my fucking just blood and guts and take them and do whatever you want. Like, no, it's not necessarily need to be that. So I think that's a good place to probably fucking end. I know you have a fucking life and it is 2:30. So I love everyone for fucking listening. Thank you. Please share us. If you have your own story, please feel free of meeting Jeshua. Please feel free to email me, and I would love to have you on this amazing podcast. Wendy, you have anything else to say?
I don't think so.
Okay. Thank you for joining us. I really appreciate you. And I love you so much.
I love you, girl. Thank you for having me. I feel honored.
All right, everyone. We'll see you. We drop episodes every single Sunday. So we'll see you next Sunday.